Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
Welcome to Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability. Today we're honored to have a guest with us that takes sustainability to new levels in his community, Eric Drew, the founder of Eric Drew Foundation. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. You look great today. You look nice and tan, like you've been out in the sun.
It's been sunny, yeah. We've had some good weather lately. So
one day of rain
nice.
And sun's back out.
I like it.
So tell the audience a little bit about your history and what you've done in your life, your business.
Wow, I grew up in Los Gatos, so I'm a local guy. I played football for Charlie Wiedemeyer. Some people know the coach that had Lou Gehrig's disease, and he was always a big inspiration for me and a lot of people.
And you were the football star.
No, I wasn't a football star. I shouldn't say that. No, he was the football star. Anyway, I went to college in San Diego and afterwards got involved in the Silicon Valley business, the high-tech stuff, software, and ended up doing international contracts. Worked in Japan and Korea and around Europe for many years. And
you worked all over the world.
Worked all over the world, really. Yeah, mostly in Europe, but yeah, it was fantastic.
And you look so young to have had that much history already.
That's 42 will get you some miles, actually. But yeah, no, it's been it was a fantastic ride.
So, and your nonprofit, what is it that your nonprofit does?
The Eric Drew Foundation basically assists families. I should say we give patients hope by empowering them to take control of their medical situation, to strategize on how to confront a serious or terminal medical illness, how to find clinical trials that they're not being offered, how to negotiate with insurance companies, how to raise money in the community if the family has financial issues, a whole variety of things. There's a huge gap in the care system in this country where people are diagnosed with a very serious illness, and next thing you know, you're kind of tossed into this machine of pumps and chemo or whatever it might be, and everyone's too busy to really answer your questions, and you've got to get there's this huge learning curve, and we want to help people get from point A to point B a lot faster.
So the clinical trials, let's go back to that later, but your own history and why you started the Eric Drew Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that.
Well, in 2002, I had moved back to this country after living in London for a couple of years, and I was going into the Red Cross doing donations of platelets for kids with leukemia, and I had done that for about 8 years. Off and on, I'd go into the Red Cross and donate platelets for for kids with cancer and things like that. And that was all I knew about leukemia at the time, was that the kids needed other people's blood products to survive. And so when I went in early December 2002, they told me they noticed something wrong with my blood. And within a couple of days, I was diagnosed with ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, stage 4+. I mean, my bone marrow was 100% cancerous, and it was, my whole life as I knew it ended at that moment.
And do you know how you got leukemia? Do they know how people get it, or is there?
Some leukemias they can find causes to, an exposure to a toxin, or a genetic. Maybe there's a genetic component to some older leukemias, but there was none with this kind of. ALL seems to strike all different cultures, all different facets of society, and
what does that stand for again? AOL.
ALL is acute lymphoblastic leukemia, or acute lymphocytic leukemia. They're both one and the same, and it's very virulent. It's acute, which means it can take over your body. You can show no signs of illness whatsoever and be dead within 2 weeks.
Wow.
I mean, that fast.
And you were feeling fine. You just moved back like a year before or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was in the best shape of my life. I was
working out,
surfing, climbing the Los Gatos Hills every day. Business was doing well. I had a consulting business going on, and everything was going great for me. And the last person you'd think would ever get sick, really. I mean, I had a pretty healthy lifestyle, and it was a very big surprise. I did feel very tired for several weeks before I was diagnosed. So there were some symptoms there, but I had no idea I was that sick.
You thought you were just going about your day and
yeah.
being busy, and oh, maybe I need a little
Right.
vacation, or
Right, and even
Yeah.
when they saw that there was a problem with my blood, they didn't think leukemia right away. They thought, oh, geez, you probably have a bad flu or maybe a mono or something like that, but you need to go get tested. And once they did the test, it was pretty scary.
So there's, how many different types of leukemia are there then?
Oh gosh, I would say, I'm guessing, but maybe probably 80 different types of leukemia. I mean, you have hairy cell leukemia, you've got, you know, all different types of acute leukemias, and you have leukemias of the red cells, of the white cells, platelet, you know, all kinds of things. So.
And so once you found out that you had it, you went through treatment. Tell us a little bit about that process. You went to Stanford and...
Oh God, it was like being flushed down a black hole. It was so scary. I mean, when I was diagnosed, I was told on a Wednesday night, and he basically, the doctor said, look, I need you to go home and get your affairs in order, because I need you to check into Stanford Medical Center tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And that was it. I mean, you don't, there was no time to waste. And so it was very scary. And again, like I said, you know, you're in this cancer ward, and you know, people are dying, and there's people running around, and you can feel the chemo just sucking the life out of you, and it's a very, very scary place. I mean, really, I expected there'd be more, you know, there'd be people that I could talk to, or that somebody from the American Cancer Society or from the Leukemia Lymphoma Society would come in and say, hey, you know what, if you have any questions, give us a call, or, you know, we know you've been recently diagnosed with this and you got a lot of questions, and, you know, the medical staff might not be able to answer all your questions, you know, but there was really nothing like that. It was very scary.
And so what kind of treatment was it? Was this, at this point at Stanford, they were...
It's called inductive, or yeah, I think it's called inductive treatment, and what it is just a massive amount of chemotherapy, and it just basically, with all my bone marrow being cancer, they had to kill all the blood and bone marrow in my body.
So at that point, they were looking for a bone marrow person for you then?
Well, the first thing they do is try to get you into a temporary remission, because you can't do a transplant if you don't get into a remission in the first place. So you have to get into a temporary, at least a remission in your blood, so your blood doesn't have a sign of tumor in it. And a lot of people don't live through that first induction treatment. It's very hard.
It's like a 99% chance they won't, or something.
I don't, you know,
really high?
I don't know what the chances are, but and it's getting better as the chemos that they get are more targeted. They're targeting the bone marrow and blood systems better than killing the entire body.
Yeah, they're able to put that system more at a pointed place than the whole body.
Yeah, I mean, it still affects your whole body. I mean, your skin, everything is affected. You know, especially all your internal organs are affected seriously by the chemotherapy. But I mean, you're basically killing all the blood and bone marrow out of that person, and then keeping them alive with infusions of platelets and whole blood from donors. And so, you know, if you think of it this way, I had a cancer of my immune system. So how do you kill a patient's immune system without killing the patient? And the answer is you cannot. You have to kill, in essence, you have to kill the patient and then reboot them with a new operating system.
Hopefully.
You know, hopefully, right, with a transplant.
And so that was the hope at Stanford, and that didn't happen, or?
No, I got a phone call. As a matter of fact, you know, the whole South Bay community just rallied behind the whole effort to save my life and started this foundation. And 1,000 people showed up and tried to be...
At Stanford?
Well, no, it was actually done at Calvary Church in Los Gatos.
Okay.
But 1,000 people showed up to the bone marrow drive that we did to try to find a donor. And unfortunately, they searched the international databases, and nowhere in the world was there a donor suitable for me. I got a phone call that morning. It was somebody basically saying, this is the search coordinator, bone marrow search coordinator at Stanford. We're very sorry, but we cannot find a match for you. You know, we're going to arrange hospice care, or we'll have somebody from hospice services call you next week.
So basically saying, good luck,
you're
bye-bye.
Yeah, there's, unfortunately, you don't qualify for any more treatments here. Yeah, there's nothing else we can do for you.
So you went home, and then at that point, is that when you found out about the half-sister, or is that later in the story?
Well, you know, the whole story, yeah, kind of takes a kick right here. You're right. You know, basically here I am. I'm being Stanford University Medical Center is giving me no options at all. I mean, I asked them, are there any clinical trials anywhere you can refer me to? No, nothing we can do. My half sister that I only met a couple of years before turns out she works at the transplant center at the Fred Hutch Cancer Research Center in Seattle.
And what's it called again?
The Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center.
Fred Hutchinson.
Called the Fred Hutch,
okay.
they call it, and it's actually the SCCA, which is
And
Seattle
it's in
Cancer
Seattle
Care Alliance.
proper, or is it in Kirkland or one of the
No,
other?
it's right downtown Seattle. Yeah,
Okay.
right on Lake Union. It's a combination of the Seattle Children's Hospital, the University of Washington Medical Center, and the Fred Hutch Cancer Research Center. So it's like a big campus, actually.
And your half sister worked there.
She worked